This is the new Audi A6 Avant, and unlike most new cars being revealed these days, which are just electric, this one has got a petrol and a diesel engine, though obviously not together. Those are your choices. Anyhow, it's been completely redesigned inside and out and comes packed with new technology. But what does this mean for the rest of the Audi lineup? What about the RS6, for example? Well, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. The Audi A6 Avant is based on Audi's latest PPC platform. That stands for Premium Platform Combustion. More on combustion later. It begs the question though, who hurt Audi? The new A6 looks super aggressive and mean from the front with a massive grille and sharp new headlights. Of course, it wouldn't be an Audi without cool lights now, would it? The daytime running lights feature 48 individual LEDs and you can personalise the light designs. There are 7 signatures to choose from on the front and the rear. Okay, so the new A5 has 8 designs, so I don't know why this only gets 7, but never mind. Matrix LED headlights are optional and they blank out part of their beam so you don't dazzle oncoming drivers. Elsewhere, the new A6 has similar large air curtains to the new A5 and flush door handles for improved aerodynamics. All models come with roof rails and new wheel designs range from 18 to 21 inches. The A6 Avant also has a wraparound rear light bar, but it's much sleeker than on the A5. There's also individual tail lights above the light bar, and Audi has also specifically shaped the spoiler, diffuser and rear bumper to reduce drag. But the most important things are these 2 rectangular exhaust tips. It's tricky to tell from these pictures whether they're completely real, so I'll have to wait until I get my hands on the car to know for sure. But I've heard that Audi has now banned fake exhaust pipes. The A6 Avant is 60mm longer than before, and the wheelbase has grown a smidge by 3mm, but the body itself is actually 6mm narrower. However, just like the previous A6, you'll be able to get it as a saloon, and that should arrive in a few months' time. Audi has completely changed its car naming strategy again. Even-numbered ICE cars are back, starting with the new A6 Avant. Previously, Audi planned to use even numbers for electric vehicles and odd numbers for cars with combustion engines. For example, the A4 replacement is called the A5, and I was expecting the new A6 to be called the A7, but Audi's done a U-turn. It's unclear what they'll do with the latest A5 and whether that will return back to being the A4. Who knows? But for now at least, the number will reflect the size of the car. Anyway, back to the new A6 Avant. Audi always does great interiors, and this new A6 Avant does not disappoint. It gets Audi's latest panoramic driver's display and infotainment touchscreen. There's also an optional display for the passenger so they can watch videos while you're driving or program directions into the satellite navigation. You get loads of ambient lighting as standard, including this strip along the dash. As well as fancy colours, it also flashes in time with the indicators, just in case you forgot they were on. You can also spec a huge panoramic sunroof with 9 switchable elements that block out parts of the glass. But to be honest, this isn't that flashy because even the new Renault Scenic has this tech. But what's going on under the car's bonnet? Well, in the UK there will be 2 engines to choose from. You can get a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol and a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine. Both versions have a 7-speed automatic gearbox. The petrol model is front-wheel drive only, but the diesel has quattro all-wheel drive and a 48-volt mild hybrid system. Don't go expecting the system to deliver loads of extra horsepower though. The mild hybrid adds just 24 horsepower. Despite this, both the petrol and diesel engines produce the same 204 horsepower. The big difference comes when you look at the torque. The petrol engine produces 340 Newton meters, which is fairly respectable, while the diesel with its hybrid motor has 400 Newton meters of torque. As a result, the diesel A6 is actually the quickest one you'll be able to buy at first. It accelerates from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 7 seconds dead, compared to 8.3 seconds for the petrol. I know what you're thinking, is that it? Well, other markets will actually get a 3-litre turbocharged V6 from the S5. That uses the same mild hybrid system as the A6 diesel and produces 367 horsepower and 550 Newton meters of torque. There'll eventually be an S6 version which is expected to get the same 3-litre turbocharged V6 but with a few more horsepower, and that one could actually appear in the UK next year. So what does Audi's latest name change mean for the RS6? Well, we're still expecting an electric RS6 e-tron to be released this year. That will be based on the A6 e-tron and should have around 800 horsepower. However, we've already spotted a petrol RS Avant prototype which has the same taillights as the new A6 Avant, so there's definitely a new RS6 with an internal combustion engine on the way too. Just like the new BMW M5, the next RS6 is expected to be a plug-in hybrid, and Audi has a few options for hybrid V8 power. The Volkswagen Group's 4-litre twin-turbo V8 produces 571 horsepower in the Audi S8 and up to 660 horsepower in the Lamborghini Urus, and that engine is also compatible with lots of plug-in hybrid systems, such as the 176 horsepower motor in Porsche's Cayenne Turbo E Hybrid. That car car produces 739 horsepower and 950 newton meters of torque from its hybrid system, which is plenty of poke for a future RS6. But Audi actually has another option. It could turn to Bentley. The new Bentley Continental GT also has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 plug-in hybrid system, but it produces a combined 782 horsepower and 1,000 newton meters of torque. So either way, the new RS6 should have at least 100 horsepower and 100 newton meters of torque more than the outgoing model. But will that be enough? I've already drag raced the new BMW M5 against the current RS6 performance, and this is what happened. Mega launch, even ahead of the Audi.
Oh no.
Oh, the Mercedes is here!
Bye, Yanni, bye! Oh, Matt's gone.
But you can bet Audi is already benchmarking its new prototypes against the M5. So I can't wait to see what the next generation RS6 is going to be like in a drag race. Anyway, back to the new A6 Avant, the normal model, because this new car isn't as practical as it once was. In the old A6 Avant, you got 565 litres of boot space. However, the entry-level petrol now only gives you 503 litres of space. That's just 1 litre more than in the Audi A6 e-tron electric car, and that's got a load of batteries underneath its floor. But the diesel has even less space because of its 1.7 kilowatt-hour battery under its boot floor for the mild hybrid system. As a result, the boot capacity of the diesel is 466 litres. Now this could be a problem because the new BMW 5 Series Touring has 570 litres of boot space, and the Mercedes E-Class Estate trumps the lot with a colossal 615 litres of space. So can Audi redeem itself? Well, you do get an electric boot as standard with their new easier to use kick to open feature. This projects a graphic on the floor so you know exactly where to wave your foot, but I can never seem to get these things to work properly regardless. Maybe my feet are just too small. And you know what they say, small feet? Small shoes, obviously. Hopefully the rest of the A6's high-tech equipment works as it should, because there's loads of it. You get adaptive cruise control, 360-degree parking cameras, and Park Assist Plus, where the car can literally park itself, to name a few. If you're really into gadgets though, you might want to spec the sound and vision pack. That includes a new heads-up display that's 85% bigger with tons of configurable functions, and an 810-watt Bang & Olufsen sound system with 20 speakers, including 2 built-in speakers for the 2 front headrests for a more immersive sound. This setup also means phone calls can be directed just to the driver so your passengers can't listen in or be annoyed by them. Speaking of listening in, the new A6 comes with ChatGPT built in. Sure, most cars seem to have ChatGPT these days, but it's handy to know there is an answer to the old question you might have when you're driving along. The A6 has always been a comfortable, refined car, but Audi has made small improvements to make it even better. They've moved all the sound insulation around inside the cabin to make it work better without adding any extra weight. The sills around the doors and windows are tighter than before, the mount bushings for the engine and transmission have been reworked for a smoother ride, and even the gear teeth in the transmission have been optimised to improve the gearbox acoustics. That's a lot of nerdy detail, but it basically means the new car is 30% quieter than the outgoing model. But what about the way it goes down the road? Audi claims that the standard coil suspension is comfier than before. S-Line and top specification Edition 1 trims gets a sportier suspension setup which is stiffer and rides 20mm lower. There's also the option of adaptive air suspension with adjustable damping and self-leveling. That's probably the option I would go for. Just like the sport suspension, this setup sits 20mm lower in the normal mode, but can go an extra 10mm lower than that for an even sportier stance. Plus, it can rise up by 20mm for extra comfort over rough surfaces. To make the A6 as easy to drive as possible, all models get progressive steering, where the steering ratio varies depending on your speed. The whole steering system itself has been designed to be stiffer, and the camber on the front axle has been increased to make the A6 seem a little bit sportier to drive and more responsive to your steering inputs. There's even a brake torque vectoring system. This can brake individual wheels slightly to reduce understeer in tight corners, though this is nothing new as manufacturers have been fitting this kind of thing to cars for ages. There's also a brake-by-wire system, so there's no physical connection between the pedal and the calipers. This is to make the regenerative braking feature on the mild hybrid diesel feel more natural and progressive. So it'll be interesting to see just how the brakes feel when I drive the car for the first time in the next few months. The new A6 goes on sale from the 1st of April. Front-wheel drive petrol models will cost from just over £52,000. For comparison, the entry-level BMW 520 Touring starts from £54,000, while the Mercedes E200 Estate costs from £57,000. Interestingly, that is still more expensive than the starting price of the diesel Quattro version of the new A6 Avant, as that starts from just over £56,000.